Jeff, you looked at how the PIU's been doing since the governor cut that funding. What did you find?
Well, they've had to push off those 400+ cases, and they say that they're really kind of stripped down to the bare minimum. Now, the county commissioners are trying to find ways to find money in their budget to keep this place going. But as you know, they're about half the staff that they were just a year ago.
You really have to follow the money in these cases.
Last year, prosecutor Holly Taylor showed us just one of the cases she was working on before the state stripped the Public Integrity Unit of its funding.
If that were restored, that would be the right way, in our opinion, the right way to do it, because we're handling cases, again, for counties across the state of Texas.
About 70% of the PIU's cases are prosecuted in Travis County. The district attorney's office used forfeited property taxes to help cover part of this year's tab. Next year, the DA will set aside $1 million collected from fines. Another $1 million each year is coming from Travis County taxpayers.
It is costing us money, but as a resident of Travis County, and it's just important, I think, to me and to everybody else, that people who do wrong get caught.
Commissioner Bruce Todd says it's crucial that the Public Integrity Unit remain functioning, even if it's only at a fraction of its former level.
It keeps people from doing this repetitively in the future, and that's why that unit is so terribly, terribly important.
The county is using one-time funding sources to cover the added cost, and will ask lawmakers to consider restoring state funds next year.
When people lie, cheat, and steal, they will be prosecuted.
But commissioners know politics are at play and out of their control, which means, at least for the next few years, Travis County taxpayers may have to shoulder the cost of holding Texas lawmakers accountable. Now, Lemberg is in office through 2016. That's 2.5 years, and the state legislature or the governor, either the current one or the next one, could also veto funding against the Public Integrity Unit until she leaves office, meaning that the Travis County taxpayers would have to pick that up at least through 2016.
I know one of the main things that the kids like to do is go see the elephant.
The Perez family is not alone. Lucky is one of the main attractions on the San Antonio Zoo's 35 acres. She's lived here since 1962, and zookeepers plan to keep Lucky here the rest of her life. Prissy Perez says the zoo exposes her two kids to new things.
The more exotic animals, the animals that you don't see, typically here in Texas.
We're just trying to gather public awareness on Lucky's plight.
Protesters are demanding that Lucky leave the Alamo City so she can live out her days with other elephants. At 55 years old, Kelly Anderson says zookeepers are reluctant to follow her organization's wishes.
We're hoping that people will stop and think about, the elephant exhibit and realize that it's not up to standards with the elephant research that we know about today.
The Association of Zoos and Aquariums recommends elephants live in groups of 3 or more. Lucky's been alone for a year and a half. Zoo officials have previously said moving Lucky could cause stress and impact her health. These protesters don't buy that argument.
There have been many aged elephant transfers in the United States alone. Just a few, Billy, Gina, all over the age of 50.
For now, Lucky will remain the lone star in the Asian elephant exhibit, allowing kids like Prissy Perez's son, Evan, to see a rare animal in person.
Eat the pumpkin. Also, it's cool because it walks around and it's huge.
While animal rights advocates continue their call to find Lucky a new home.
Jeff, the countdown is on. They close at midnight. What does the line look like even now?
Well, it is still out here to the parking lot. It was back to me just a couple minutes ago, and it keeps kind of having these ebbs and flows. Keep in mind, they've been throwing burgers on the grill as fast as they can, and still the line is growing here throughout the evening. But that's because everyone that's ever been here and really enjoys this place is wanting to get that one last savory bite.
We've always enjoyed coming here.
Grabbing a burger at Players is an after-church tradition for Donna Papineau and her husband Jimmy, one that's lasted more than 20 years.
Not only on Sundays, but Wednesdays. If we're downtown and we're in the area and it's time to eat, we'll pop over here.
That flame-kissed patty, fresh vegetables, and that toasted bun. Papineau says it's hard to find this flavor at a chain restaurant.
Number 14.
But take a look around, and you'll find hints of Austin character.
But take a look and see how old that sign is. The menu board.
Larry Wood swears
Original, yeah. Original.
He brought his 2 grandsons to Players one last time, a place that means more than just a good meal to him.
In '72, I built this along with about 30 more.
With a line out the door and the parking lot packed, it's hard to imagine that this will soon look like this. This used to be the Shell station. Now, all this area will soon be the UT Business School. Are you going to miss this building?
Oh, heck yeah. Because it's part of my life, you know.
65.
Out of the 30 restaurants that Wood built in the early 70s, this is one of the few buildings that remain. He says it's part of the cycle that's kept Austin changing since he arrived 45 years ago.
Mayonnaise, lettuce, ready.
A change that comes to this lot as soon as the lights go out one last time. Now, as far as what's next for players, well, Carlos Oliveira, who is one of the owners of this restaurant, says that they haven't been able to find a place nearby campus that is really affordable and also allows them to be the size that they are now, if not a little bit bigger. So there's not going to be any players in the future, at least as far as a standalone restaurant near campus. However, if you still like that taste and you want to get a little bit of a morsel in your mouth, you can go over to the local municipal golf courses in Austin. They run most of those concession stands. Amy?
Jeff, did you have one last bite? What'd you get?
I haven't yet. I am actually waiting for a very close friend of mine, my spouse, to come on over. We're going to go grab our last bite. I'm going to do the jalapeno burger. I think that'll be pretty good. Unlike political races, Austin election code requires candidates to focus on grassroots fundraising. Individual donations are capped at $350. Still, 16 candidates raised more than $50,000 each, some well beyond that. Help came from a company 500 miles away for 7 candidates. Everyone from the receptionist to the chairman and CEO of Force Multiplier Solutions gave the maximum amount. Political science professor Brian Smith says this is a way to gain access to the candidate they think will win.
If I can get somebody in city council as a friend and keep them there for a long time, I'm going to have a nice working relationship where I can then try to get my policies, maybe not passed, but at least brought to the table.
Only one Force Multiplier Solutions donor lives in the Austin area. He's the son of the executive vice president and head of marketing. The company is encouraging local school districts to install its cameras on school buses. They ticket drivers who pass while the stop sign is out and red lights flash. San Marcos installed Force Multiplier cameras earlier this year.
Now we're in the land of big city politics and big time politics. And with that comes big money.
Altogether, Force Multiplier Solutions employees and their relatives donated $31,500 to Austin campaigns. So why would a company in New Orleans care about city council races in Austin? Well, that's because the traffic laws here need to change in order for their bus cameras to be able to ticket drivers.
Contributions don't traditionally skew votes, meaning if I oppose something, your money is not going to get me to change my votes or to go against what I believe in.
But Smith says money keeps that door open. He says $3,000 here and $6,000 there could turn into a big payday if their candidates take office. In downtown Austin, Jeff Stensland, Time Warner Cable News.